thanks for coming.
How was your flight? How did you get in today?
Yes, I flew from New York, and it's so nice and warm here. It's summery. It's been cold there.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a summer dress on. I love it.
I know, but it's cold at the convention center. It's good.
It is warm in here. When I got into my hotel room, I thought it was also kind of hot, and then all of a sudden the AC kicked on. I was like, it is freezing. And I'm from Ohio, and I turned that up just a little bit to warm myself up. I'm like, you honestly, just watching you in movies, exude so much positivity. Like, your energy is so fabulous. I was so excited to meet you in person, to feel that energy in real life. When did you come into finding yourself and this confidence that you exude, not only on screen, but in real life?
Well, I think getting to do something you love is definitely makes me feel happy, and I work really hard at it, to be honest, because I struggle with definitely lots of things as just like anyone else, and just surrounding myself with good friends. I do yoga, I meditate, and just having the right person to call when you're in a bad mood to kind of lift you up out of it.
Oh, that's the best. Who do you call who's your number one, like who's your go-to call?
Well, I have a friend called Nina, and then I have these little, really? Oh, that's cute. No, but I have these girlfriends, and we call ourselves the committee, and we give each other advice, but we all love each other. We just want to like lift each other up and make each other really see how great, because I think sometimes it's easy to, get in a dark mood and kind of see things kind of negatively, so you need people around you to kind of help you see what's really true, like how good things really are.
That's fabulous. That's what I was saying when we got here, that I'm just happy to be alive. I'm just grateful to be here right now. If I'm on the ground, I wouldn't even know the difference, so I have to appreciate this moment right now. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes from now. I know what's happening.
That's true. I mean, this is like a deep conversation, but yeah, being grateful is so important. Yeah.
It was like you started off as a teenager when you got the bug that bit you, the performance bug. Was that always something inside you that you knew you kind of wanted, or was it something that you were inspired by somebody you watched, or something you saw that you were like, this is what I want to do?
I think it was a mixture of, when I was a kid, I liked to pretend, make up games, pretend to be vampires, or pretend to be different things, and then in school I acted in plays, and I feel like that's the way I got attention, or that I could, I think I was actually quite shy, so being in plays was a way to be more confident. And then I think, to be honest, as a teenager, I was kind of an awkward, nerdy kid, and I was like, I'm going to show them, I'm going to be an actress, and so luckily it's been a really good way to just be independent as well, and get to meet really interesting people.
Who is the most interesting person you've ever met that you were kind of like starstruck by?
Well, that's kind of a hard question. I mean, I was really excited to meet Steve Martin when I worked with him, because I had watched Saturday Night Live as a kid and watching like King Tut, but there's so many cool people that I've luckily gotten to meet. Though sometimes people are a little bit not exactly what you thought they were going to be, but other people are just really amazing.
Yeah. It's like you have, from License to Drive to Chosen Family last year, you've really evolved as an actor. How do you think that you've done that through time? What do you think that you have really learned and grabbed a hold of and changed?
Well, I think that just having experience is a great thing, and just getting to do something for so many years, definitely learn a lot, and it's been really fun to learn about behind the scenes stuff too, like the cinematography and the editing, and just what every crew member is doing. And I've studied with different acting coaches, and that's been really fun too.
Are you an early bird? Do you get to set really early, or are you kind of coming in right on time?
I'm a late riser. I will not be getting up early unless someone is forcing me to. So, but no, if I have a job, I'm excited to be there, and I get there on time for sure.
You said a late riser. Are you a night owl, or are you
I like sleeping.
You just like to sleep. It's your favorite pastime.
Being like 11 hours a day, I'm pretty happy.
That's great.
Just to be totally honest, yeah.
We were talking about our wardrobe earlier, just out there, and your wardrobe in Chosen Family is so cute.
Aww.
I was like,
some of it was mine, and some of it people were lending to us, and one of it was the the production designer was letting me wear her clothes.
I was wondering because I was like, is this her attire or is this something that was set for you? Because they were all such adorable pieces.
Yeah, it was a mixture because actually that movie was pretty low budget, so a bunch of people just donated stuff, and then I brought some of my own clothes, and then this very groovy woman that was doing our production design just like gave me all of her clothes to wear.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You guys are the same size, it's fabulous. I couldn't do that with my friends.
It was pretty cool, like, because I think she just took me into her closet one day and was just like, what do you want to wear, you know, and she had so much stuff.
Have you ever taken any outfits from any of the sets that you've been on that you were like, I love
I
this?
try to always take all the outfits when I can. I mean, I couldn't take her clothes because she was like, you know, donating them to us, so I didn't take that. But if you know, different designers donate stuff, or sometimes I put it in my contract to take the clothes.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, that's awesome. Do you have anything that is up? Do you, like, that you have like a room with all your memorabilia or your collectibles?
Well, it's funny because I recently moved and I found the roller skates. Like I had this pair of roller skates from Boogie Nights, and
Which ones?
There's the main. I really only have one pair. Well, there were two
I said
pairs.
two. Were you into like a tan and a
There was a
white?
tan. No, there's only a tan actually. But yeah, so I was thinking, should I just give this to the Goodwill? And I was saying this to like my boyfriend at the time. I'm like, I don't know what to do with these roller skates. And he's like, oh my God, I'll buy them. I'm like, what? And this is before I really knew that people will buy these movie props. So then my manager got me to donate it to the Academy Museum. And they're putting it in the museum, which is
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm glad I didn't just give them away to Goodwill.
You learned to roller skate for that film, right?
I did, yeah. I had never done it, and then they got me a coach, and I practiced in this parking lot. And I just remember that I had this stand-in, like, because when you're an actor, you have another actor that helps with the camera department and the lighting. And they just threw her in this pair of roller skates, and she had no training and no teacher, and she was like falling over a lot. Because it's kind of, you know, there's all these wires everywhere, but luckily I didn't fall over while I was shooting the movie.
You did great.
Yeah.
I was like, even in that nude scene, sometimes you have to be, as an actor, extremely vulnerable. And it's amazing and kind of probably freeing, I would think, to be able to kind of just express this other side of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to kind of, you know, something that you never do in real life, but get to do it as an actor, and it is kind of fun to play like these darker, more wild out there characters, for sure.
Is there another skill that you've ever had to learn for a movie?
Well, I was in Swingers, and I learned how to swing dance. That was really fun, and Jon Favreau taught me how to swing dance, and yeah, I still can do it to this day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever, like, go out and dance?
I do, but it's hard to find a guy that knows how to do it, you know, because it's quite you really have to practice, and, but yeah, I still do it.
There's some groups out there that do this like freestyle improv swing dancing, and they get together and they just find random partners, and they're all like, they all just know different moves, and they just start dancing together. It's absolutely fabulous.
Well, there used to be a place in LA called the Derby, but it closed. But it was very retro, and everyone that went there was a whole swing dancing group, and people would swing dance. But now it's sadly closed. But still, people, you know, it's different little communities still do it.
We were talking about chosen family just a little bit, and having a close knit of friends, which is really kind of what that movie is about: is friendship and family. And you, not only are you the lead in it, but you also directed it, right?
Yeah.
What was that transition like from acting to directing? Was it a challenge for you?
It is a little bit intimidating. Luckily, I have this friend, and he produced the movie, and he was very encouraging. Actually, one of the characters is based on him, the Thomas Lennon character. It's cool because I actually introduced Tom to one of my booking agents for the conventions, and now Tom's been doing a bunch of conventions, and he's really one of the funniest people I've ever met. But, so I had a lot of encouragement from my friend, but it was interesting because I understand the acting part, you know, well, and I understand actors, but learning about, you know, editing and learning about how you're going to shoot things and just the production design and reading a budget, it's very interesting just to learn all the different things about filmmaking.
Do you think you'll continue doing that as a new...
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'm working on a few different things right now. Yeah.
Awesome. It's so exciting. Like, I'm sure that you've learned a lot over the years What is some of the best advice that you were given that you just kind of held on to throughout your career?
Well, I had an acting coach, and he said you have to have the skin of a rhinoceros, but the heart of a baby. Because, people can say things and you can get your feelings hurt, but at the same point, you want to be strong, but at the other side, you want to be vulnerable in scenes where, the character's really being vulnerable. So it's kind of like having those two sides.
Let's talk a little bit about Felicity Shagwell, Austin Powers. I'm sure is quoted to you probably the most. What line do people come up to you and quote more often
Well,
than
I
not?
think just going to these conventions and stuff, people like shag well by name, shag very well by reputation. And I did go, I went to this hockey game, and they put the people, different actors, they'll put them on the Jumbotron, and so they did put that scene on the Jumbotron. So I guess that's my most memorable moment of that.
Is that your favorite quote?
I mean, it is a great line. When you read the script, you're like, that's going to be so fun to say that.
What about from any movie? What is your number one favorite line that you've ever done?
I mean, that's kind of hard to come
I know you have
out of the top of my head.
Rolodex of film.
I mean, that is a great line. I mean, it was fun in Boogie Nights to do that scene where I was kicking the guy with my skates. I remember that.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Oof, that's an intense
Inner violent
scene.
side that never usually comes out, but just in that moment.
Yeah, she at first seems very calm and silent, and then that moment is just she flips a switch and they're just holding her back. It is a great scene.
That was fun.
And honestly, when she's in the limo and he says, "Brandy," that moment, the look on your face is priceless because you can see that her heart drops.
Right.
And you know that that's her real name.
Right.
And she had a life before this. And you definitely do such a great job portraying that through the screen.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
If you were cryogenically frozen and you woke up in the future, what technology would you love to awaken to?
Well, that makes me think of Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court, just how, let's see, if I woke up in the future, I think it'd be cool if we could all fly, and if we all had little tiny portable, heli things, where we could just, float around in, our own little drones and just go wherever we wanted without having to drive on freeways.
That'd be great. I would take a little platform just to float around on.
I think they're working on things like that.
I've seen a hover kind of bike that looks like it is the bike from Star Wars. It is pretty sweet, and the guy's floating around on it, so hopefully one day we will see that.
That's amazing. Yeah, or at least be in a movie where, I always thought when I watch movies like Superman, just seeing someone fly, I just always thought that would be really cool.
Yeah, it would be scary. What if you fell? I'd be worried.
You'd have to have superpowers, or Peter Pan. I really loved Peter Pan as a kid, so I used to want to be Peter Pan, and I had a picture of Peter Pan on my wall, and I was obsessed with Peter Pan.
There is a scene in Peter Pan that I never realized until I was older, when the mermaids are kind of trying to drown Wendy. And I didn't think about it when I was younger. Oh, they're just having fun. And I'm like, wait, these girls are kind of evil. There's a little bit of maniacal kind of sense behind them. I was like, Peter Pan's a great film. Did you ever watch Hook with Robin Williams?
I did, but it was a long time ago. But I saw the play version of Peter Pan when I was 7 years old or 8 years old, and Sandy Duncan was in it, and she was flying on these wires, and that might have been an inspirational moment where I wanted to become an actress, just because I thought, gosh, she's flying over the thing, and I was obsessed with Peter Pan, and I loved her in it.
If you were Felicity Shagwell as a professor at a college, what would you teach? What would be her subject?
Shagging. I guess spy skills and shagging. Yeah.
Because she's a smart woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she can manipulate
Rocket
it.
science. Yeah.
If
But I like psychology, so if I was going to teach a class, I probably would like something to do with psychology.
Do you have a favorite, is Freud or somebody
I mean, I like this new form of therapy called internal family systems, kind of this idea that inside all of us we have this family, and there's this self, which is the loving parent, and it's a really cool form of therapy.
Yeah, I love it. Do Do you go to therapy?
I do, yeah, I've been going, I go to EMDR, I don't know, I find it all just, I think as an actress, like you read a script and you go, well, why is this character doing this? And then you try to understand, like, what happened in their childhood that made them want to do this, or why are they saying this, or why are they acting like this? So I do a lot of analyzing of people's behavior, so that kind of, is psychology, really.
Oh, that's amazing, because that gives us a little bit of insight too on how you build a character, because everybody has such a different way of going about it and finding who that character is, and I think that's an awesome way of looking at it, like very different perspective.
Yeah. I have this one acting coach and we come up with memories like, okay, what happened to you in your childhood? And then why are you like this? And so we come up with all these different memories, which is really cool.
That's great, because then you have your own little backstory that you can really feed off of.
Yeah.
And where that character is at emotionally, and that's that present.
Yeah, like I just did this movie I think it's going to come out next year, but it's called They Will Kill You. And it's like a horror action comedy. And, but there's a lot of fighting scenes, and I just made up this backstory that I was bullied as a kid at school, and that was where a lot of my kind of rage was coming from.
I feel like you've done a lot of comedy and some horror films. Are those your favorite genres to be a part of? Is that where you feel comfortable?
I like kind of dark. I guess my favorite genre would be dark comedy, but I actually like everything. Like I like drama. I like I like horror, even though sometimes it really scares me. I love comedy, and I just like anything good. I like things that are unique. Like I like things that are new and fresh and creative.
Do you ever turn down roles that come to you that you go, no, that's just doesn't fit me. I'm not really into doing a character like that. Do you ever turn down roles or turn down something and then go, man, I should have done that?
Definitely.
What's a role that you turned down that you were like,
Oh, I'm too embarrassed to say.
That's okay, you don't have to tell us. You can keep your secrets. If you were stuck in one of the movies that you've done, which movie would you jump into that world?
This is a very thought-provoking question. Well, I mean, Chosen Family is probably the closest to my real life, just in terms of like having a lot of great friends. So I guess without being able to think about this for a while and come up with a more thoughtful answer, I would say that.
There is a great quote in Chosen Family that says, you can turn your day around at any moment. And I tell my boyfriend this, is that sometimes you can be in a bad mood, but I can choose to let go of that emotion and choose to be happy right now. Or I can choose to wallow in this self-pity or sadness. And I'm like, it really is your own choice. Like, you are in control of your own feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine line, because obviously sometimes you're sad and you can't totally talk yourself out of it, but I think you can choose not to dwell in it, for sure. And you can choose to be like, okay, I'm sad, feel your feelings, and like, okay, now I'm gonna just go for a walk in nature, or call a friend that, you know what I mean? I think you can choose to distract yourself and find things to feel happy about.
When you're sad or upset by anything, angry, is there a place that you go, besides yoga? Is there a place in your house maybe that you go that's your favorite room to relax or get away from it all? Or is there a place that you're like, I love going to this park and that's where I go to kind of collect myself?
Well, I mean, this might be too much information, but I do go to like a 12-step group called Al-Anon, and it's basically for people who have like a friend or a family member who struggles with addiction. So it's basically about like codependency, and I find that to be really helpful, and it's really great to have like a spiritual connection and share your feelings in a room full of people that are supportive.
What's a lesson that you've learned in your yoga and meditation teachings that you pass along to others?
Well, I think all we really have is the present moment, and I just think for me, like, I can get stressed out, and I can get tense, and I can start worrying, and I feel like if you really relax, then, just be grateful to be in this moment. Like, I get to talk to you guys here, it's pretty cool, and it's fun I've gotten to be in these movies and get to talk to you, so just to try to, if you really just relax and be in the moment, and just try to be grateful, basically.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about coming to a convention like this?
Well, it's cool that movies that you've been in, that people remember them, or that it was just meaningful, or that someone's like, oh, I watched this movie with my dad, and it's sweet,
Do you still get nervous anytime when you're on set?
Oh
or in
yeah,
front of
I get
other
nervous
people?
all the time.
I feel like nerves make you almost like, if you're not nervous to do something, it's probably not worth it.
No, I get nervous all the time, but I read these, interviews with like Meryl Streep or like Steven Spielberg, and I feel like a lot of people, creative people, and I'm sure just everyone, anytime you're doing something new or something that you care about, you get nervous,
Because you care about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key factor there, that if you didn't care, you wouldn't be nervous, you wouldn't be scared or worried. You'd just be like, all right, we're gonna go do this, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit up with Heather Graham, it's all right. I'm scared, don't
I
be
think
nervous.
Madonna had a cool quote, like, if I'm scared to do something, that means I shouldn't do it. Like if I feel like if I'm scared, then that's a good thing. Like maybe this is something, obviously like, don't just jump off a cliff and kill yourself, but like if you care about something enough that you're scared, then that's good to do it.
Because then you're growing. You're kind of stepping outside of the box and growing as a person. And I think that's a great thing to do for everybody. Are you scared of anything? Do you have any fears at all?
I do, it's funny because I've been in some different horror movies recently, and I am scared of horror movies. And it's so funny because everyone at these conventions, they love, but yeah, like, I did a remake. I don't know if anybody here saw, there was like a movie in the 80s called The Entity. It was with Barbara Hershey. And I just did a remake, or not really a remake, but it's a movie about this woman's true story, and it's terrifying. It's so scary. Like when I read the script, I was like, oh my god. It took me a while to like not be scared after reading that script.
Do you ever go to haunted houses or anything?
Occasionally, not a lot, but I do feel like sometimes if you walk into certain buildings, you can feel like, well, there's kind of like a weird energy here,
Yeah, it's like I'm sure you definitely feel energy. You do a lot of yoga meditation. Are you into energy?
I'm sure you guys have gone into like certain kind of old buildings, or just like, if you go into like a graveyard, you can be like, okay, the energy here is different than just going into like a Starbucks or something.
Like heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
I walked into a room at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, and the one room was so heavy that I was like, this room, I didn't like being in there. It was like, it just felt like concrete on me. And I was like, this is a weird energy. I could leave the room now. Once I saw what was in there.
Well, the house I was living in before I moved, some of my friends thought there was a ghost in the wine cellar. Like there was a small room that like was supposedly like a wine cellar. It was a very small room, but everyone that went in there said like, wow, I think there's like something in there.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Being a female in the industry, was that intimidating for you, especially because you did start off as a young person, as a teenager? Was that intimidating, and did you have a good support system behind you?
Yeah, I think it's intimidating because nobody in my family was in the business, and as a woman, just there's probably less roles, but yeah, I'm very grateful, and I just think as an audience member, I would like to see more movies, directed by women and written by women, starring women, and it's cool. Like some more people are starting to care about that now.
For sure. The stuff has changed so much, and I'm so glad that we are all so accepting and open to these new ideas, because if you're just stuck in the same thing all the time, it gets boring.
Well, it's new, different stories that haven't been told, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, new perspectives on things too. Here's just a quick rapid fire questions before I get to some fan submitted questions for you. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, if I had more time to think, maybe I would think of some other ideas, but I would just put my best friends up there, because that would make me feel happy just seeing their faces, because I love them, and I want to just see their faces huge. Yeah.
I'm guessing you guys have a little group chat.
Well, I have some friends that I've known since I was in high school, and I kind of base the Chosen Family characters on them, and then I have some more recent friends, and maybe I just put them all up there all together, and then that would make me really happy.
If you haven't seen Chosen Family, it's on Hulu. I was like, watch it. It's an hour and a half. It's great. From the beginning to the end, the movement of the story is so fantastic. Sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, the beginning is slow. When are we going to get to it? You're getting to it throughout the whole, and from the first time you speak to the end, It wraps up so nicely. There is one thing that I was like, oh, come on, this is gonna happen. So it was like, but it does wrap up really well, and I thought it was just such a touching and funny, and it was so relatable to so many people. I won't tell you a lot about the movie if you haven't seen it, but you are recording vlogs and doing videos. And nowadays, social media is such a big part of what everybody does. It's not even just actors. It is if you own a bakery, you have to be on social media. And that's all we get to really see of everybody is this kind of what we want to put out there for you. Is something that you have that's like in your social media, that's a little secret that you look at? What is something that would pop up in your social media feed?
Well, okay, my dorky kind of love of psychology, I follow this guy called Jimmy on relationships, and he does these funny little relationships videos where he pretends to be the guy and the girl, and they have fights with each other. And I also like pictures of like babies dancing and things like that, or like animals being, you know, cute. I would watch that too.
Stuff that kind of is uplifting and
yeah. I like watching kids dance. I don't know, it's kind of fun.
They're pretty talented.
Yeah,
I wish I could.
It makes you happy.
Yeah. What do you suck at? What are you terrible at?
Well, okay.
You're so great at so many things. We all see you as being
I was dating a guy, and he was very good at snowboarding, and so he was like, you need to learn how to ski, and I'm pretty bad at that. I mean, I can go down a beginner hill, but I'm not very good.
Last question before I move into these fan-submitted questions. What song would you perform at karaoke?
Well, I mean, I love that song, I Will Survive, you know, but I don't know. I'll just say that for now.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Chloe from Round Rock wants to know, your role in Boogie Nights was so iconic. What did you find most challenging or rewarding about stepping into that world?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's pretty fun when your character's name is Roller Girl, and you don't even have like a name. Like, that's kind of fun, you know? You feel kind of cool, like you're wearing I got to wear roller skates, never take them off, and it is fun to play kind of like really out there characters that are not just like a normal person. It's fun to just think about this crazy, what if I was in this crazy world? And then of course there were so many good people in that, so many good actors, and Paul Thomas Anderson is a great director. And also it was a moment in my career where, you know, I was trying to get jobs and I was auditioning, but when I got that, I hit a moment where I could just get offered jobs and make more money, which was awesome.
Yeah, it is cool to be known as like, not a name, but Roller Girl. Like you're not Brandy, you're just Roller Girl.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Lucas from Dallas asks, you played Felicity Shagwell and Austin Powers. What was it like working on such a wild, over-the-top comedy?
Well, it's funny because when I worked on that, I wasn't as knowledgeable about comedy, and now I really love comedy so much, and I feel so grateful to be in it. But at the time, I was like, I want to be in dramas about the Holocaust, you know? It's like, I want to be in Sophie's Choice, you know? But it's really fun. I love watching comedy probably the most, because it just sometimes you're like, the world can be depressing. Like, do I want to watch like a depressing movie? So it's nice to be in something that makes people laugh and is joyful and makes people happy.
Samantha from Austin, is there a particular role that you played that pushed you out of your comfort zone the most?
Well, I guess everything is kind of hard in different ways, but yeah, learning to, starting to direct, that's definitely pushing out of the comfort zone, and I don't know, I feel like comedy can be hard too, even though it's sort of, you know, comedy's hard, like working with people that are like so talented, it can be like kind of intimidating, like here's these comedic geniuses and now be in a scene with them.
And be serious.
Yeah.
Have you ever like laughing your butt off when Mike Myers is doing something silly?
I mean, honestly, we did a lot of rehearsals, so everything he was doing, I had already seen him do, so that was a relief, but he would make everyone laugh all the time, for sure.
By the time you've done it on set, you've seen it, somebody it's not
like
funny.
He would rehearse the weekend, and he would, you know, but then he would always throw new things in there, so yeah.
Catch you off guard.
I would try to not laugh, for sure.
That's fantastic. It makes every day fun to go to work. Tyler from Brian asks, how do you go about choosing the projects you want to be a part of?
Basically, I think it's a script. You just read the script, and if you like the script, and there's like, sometimes are there cool people, or is it a big studio movie and that could be good, or is it just a role you've never played, or just, a lot of it is the writing of the script.
Yeah, the story is not there. Or not,
But to be honest, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, because sometimes you'll read something and you'll think it's really good, and then maybe it won't turn out good. Or sometimes you'll read things, you'll be like, this doesn't seem like it might be that good, and then it will be really good. So it's a little bit of a gamble.
It's like in Vegas. Madison from Dallas asks, what's one behind-the-scenes story from filming The Hangover that still makes you laugh when you think about it?
Well, I mean, being around those guys, they're so funny, and trying to think. I mean, being at the blackjack table with them was really fun, and it was cool because that was at a time where a lot of those guys weren't so famous. So, but they're just so quick, and they just come up with really funny improvs, and it's just great. It's very alive, just whatever they would say, like just wondering what they were going to say.
A whole bunch of creative minds in one room.
Yeah.
Noah from Austin asks, you appeared on Twin Peaks, a show that's full of mystery and strangeness. How did that experience compare to your work on more traditional sets?
Well, yeah, David Lynch is such an auteur, and he'll just do like the weirdest stuff that doesn't even make sense, but then it all is somehow good, So it's kind of cool. I remember I met him, and I think I went to his house, and I first worked on this commercial that he was doing. But he had this like plate with meat on it, and he had ants crawling on it, and he was like doing a film of ants crawling on meat. And I just thought, that's not every day that you go to someone's house and they're filming ants crawling on meat,
That's fantastic. Grace from Cedar Hill says, if you could go back to give yourself one piece of advice when you were younger before entering Hollywood, what would it be?
Well, I wish that I would have just been nicer to myself. I think as a younger person, I had more negative thoughts, and now I wish I just would have been more supportive and loving to myself. And I also think, maybe as a younger person, it would have been cool to like start creating my own content, because you see different people like Issa Rae or Frankie Shaw, or different people like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and you're like, wow, these people just wrote their own stuff. Like, I wish I had maybe gone to film school and started doing that, like, when I was really young.
What would your channel be about?
I guess it would just be, like, interesting female-driven stories. Yeah, because I would like to have my own production company, just with something like that.
Yeah, I want you to continue doing stuff like that, too. I really enjoyed it. Ethan from The Colony said, you've also stepped into writing, producing, and directing. What was the most surprising thing you learned being behind the camera?
Well, it makes you really realize how brave actors are, because while you're watching them, you're like, wow, this is quite scary to do that. But it's so much preparation that goes into it, and then the editing, and just how every part of the process, and just music, and everything makes such a big difference. So it's really great to learn what all the other people are doing. It's very cool.
Do you have a lot of power as the director, or are you still kind of, you've got big bosses above you?
You have some power, but at the end of the day, you don't have all that. I mean, I think if you're like Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese, or I don't know, Jane Campion or somebody like that, but if you're kind of a newer director, the person with the money probably has more power.
Always. It's always the person with the checkbook. I wish it was me.
Yeah.
I'll take their checkbook. Alyssa from Victoria says, is there a type of movie or TV show you haven't done yet that you'd love to try?
Well, I would like to play, if you look at like, I love Breaking Bad. I'd like to play like a female anti-hero, just kind of like you like them and care about them, but they're really screwed up, and like something like such a great role like that. Yeah, like in a TV show or a movie. Yeah.
You've done voiceovers too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite thing between theater, movies, television, and voiceovers? Which one would you?
I like movies and television the most. Yeah.
How was it doing voiceover work? Was it extremely
It's fun.
different?
I mean, you can just show up, you just be like all slobby and just, but you still have to put you still put kind of the same amount of work into it, because you want to understand your character and where you're coming from, and you think about your voice a lot more too.
Yeah, and you've done modeling too, right?
I haven't done a lot of modeling. I did some kind of like ads as in actress, like, oh, you know, selling a hair product or something. But no, I never really did that much modeling. No, I actually never did any, but I'll do it now. Someone
Get on it. Brandy from Flower Mound. Of all the characters you've played, which one would you love to revisit in a sequel or a spin-off, if you could?
Well, I wonder what happened to Roller Girl. I don't know. Or I don't know, any of these things. I mean, yeah, like Felicity Shagwell, I wish they would do a sequel for sure.
When did you realize that you created such an impact on others? When was that moment for you?
Well, when some people dress as you for Halloween, that's kind of a cool feeling. Because you're like, oh wow, these people remember this movie and they dress as this costume. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think you're such an influence on others. It's
cool.
Is it a surreal feeling?
I mean, I don't know if I totally digest, like, you know, I just know that I'm grateful that I get to keep working and stuff.
What are you most grateful for?
I'm kind of grateful I don't have a 9-to-5 job, to be honest. And, you know, I'm grateful for my friends, my health. I mean, honestly, I had a friend die, like, last year of cancer. Like, I'm just grateful I'm alive and healthy, pretty much, yeah.
That's all we can ask for, right? I was like, being here.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can think, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, but you're like, I'm glad I have my health, you know, for sure.
Yeah. Very serious question. What does acting mean to you?
I think it's telling stories and, you know, making it real so when people are watching it that they can go into that world and lose themselves in a story.
You're a big foodie. What meal would you eat if you could only choose one meal for the rest of your life? What would be your go-to?
I don't know. Does anyone have suggestions on where to go in Dallas? Like, where's a good... I'm obsessed with food. Like, I think I would want to eat one meal every day for the rest of my life. But I do make this oatmeal in the morning that it sounds boring, but I got this recipe and you toast it in butter and and you put peanut butter and cacao nibs and berries. So I've been eating that every day for the past like 2 or 3 years.
That's a fancy oatmeal.
It's a fancy, no, but then all my friends, when they come over, I make it for them, and then they say, we want the recipe, this is amazing.
How long does that take?
It takes like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. I was like, it sounds like
10
it'd be a little
minutes.
bit more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes.
Are you a healthy eater, or do you just kind of...
I'm a healthy eater. I mean, occasionally I let myself have like a few little kind of wild moments of just eating a lot, but I try to be healthy.
Be really kind of strict with yourself, or you were like worried about your appearance since you are in films and stuff? I mean, there's probably more pressure on you than the rest of us have to look a certain way. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's like, it's a tough thing, I would say, for us as women too, to be scrutinized and looked at all the time. I love sugar. I'm a sugar addict.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Have you ever taken anything from a set?
I have stolen underwear.
Whose underwear? Your underwear?
No, they give you underwear, and they're like, I'm just gonna wear this home.
You know? And you're like, I don't want anybody else to have these. These are mine now.
They probably don't want them back anyway after like you've worn them, but I have, yeah, sure.
Now, I did have some pre-submitted questions. There's one gentleman.
Okay.
He's standing by the microphone.
Okay.
I feel like he might have a question, and if you're okay with it, because we did do pre-submitted questions, that we would let him ask.
Sure.
If that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Hi, what's your name?
Rob.
What's up, Rob?
My wife and I are just going through Scrubs right now. We're actually just a couple of episodes into season 4 where your character was introduced. I was wondering what standout memories you had from being on the Scrubs set.
Well, actually, someone told me they might reboot it, so I was calling my agent saying, oh, I want to be in it. But no, I remember, of course, I thought Zach was amazing. I think that was around the time he did Garden State, so I had a little crush on him. And yeah, I love Donald and Sarah Chalk and Judy, and it was just fun they're all just so funny, and Bill Lawrence is really smart. Obviously he's gone on to do all these other great shows. But it was really fun. I like being around funny people, and they were all really funny.
Thanks, Rob. My last question. Dirk Diggler would say, everyone is blessed with one special thing. What's your special thing?
That's hard. I guess, I have this cool quote on my refrigerator. I think it was by Martha Graham, and it just says we all have a unique spark. It's just our own unique essence and soul. So I guess we all just have a special and unique spark.
Love Martha Graham.
Yeah.
It's like, I love Martha Graham. It's amazing. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sitting with
Thanks for
us this
coming.
morning.
Yeah.